friends, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Fort Worth Roots. You can find Fort Worth Roots on all of your favorite streaming services, Pandora, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. Just look for Fort Worth Roots. Also, there are videos associated with these on YouTube. Just look for Fort Worth Roots. In fact, you can Google us. It's Fort Worth Roots. We're at the top of the page. Why? Not because of complicated SEO work, because awesome people like you are paying attention to the show, and we pump out a ton of content. We have 4 episodes available to you by 8 a.m. Monday through Thursday, where we cover weather and a bunch of other Fort Worth-centric news stories and events. Thursdays are a really important episode because it's the last time we talk to you for the week, so we outline all the cool stuff that's going on around the city over the weekend to get you ready for going out and supporting local businesses here in the Fort Worth area. So, if you're looking for something to do, you can go to fortworthroots.com, check out our impressive inventory of awesome guests that have been on the Fort Worth Roots podcast. We're talking about mayors and police officers, the fire department, and a ton of local musicians, as well as other creators that are helping keep Fort Worth funky. Woo! That might be the best intro ever. I like it. All right. Great episode today. This is a friend of ours that has been on the show once before, but briefly. We were kind of under a time crunch. Today we got to do a long, awesome recording. So really glad that we got them back on the show as they're doing their little album release tour, going around talking to record stores and I think only one podcaster, but they did get on the radio too, so that's cool. Anyway, we like to talk about one of our sponsors up front, but then please stay tuned to the end because we talk about all of our other sponsors that you can also find on our website, fortworthroots.com. Click the Trusted Sponsors tab, and there's a great opportunity to find local businesses and keep Fort Worth dollars in Fort Worth pockets. If you're looking for somebody to take care of your property needs, look no further than our friends at the Davis team. They've already sold 2 homes for us at Fort Worth Roots and helped us find and close on our most recent purchase. We wouldn't have accepted any other offer of sponsorship from a realtor in Fort Worth because in the back of our minds we would have always known the best was still out there. No commitment necessary, If you have any questions about property, then visit them online at yourdavisteam.com or give them a call, 817-755-0504. And I think we're going to get them back on the show pretty soon to talk about a new 501c that they started up. Over the last 3 years, they've been providing families around the Fort Worth area with Thanksgiving meals. And this year, I think, was it 200? I got to go out there with them before Thanksgiving and help pass out these meals. I think I only had 6 that I delivered because I have a Toyota Camry. It's a small car, and you can only hold so many. Anyway, these are great people, and those are the people we like doing business with, the ones we want to sponsoring our show, the ones that we want to have advertised through our platform are great businesses that are doing excellent things for our community, and that is the Davis team, start to finish. So check them out. Again, that website is yourdavisteam.com. That's enough talking out of me, guys. Thank y'all so much for being here. Please give it up for our friends, Simon Flory and Roger Harvey. And let's start the show. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Fort Worth Roots. I got Simon Flory, and brother, you're going to have to remind me your name. We just met.
My name is Roger Harvey.
Roger Harvey, right on. And together you are?
Simon Flory and
Roger Harvey.
Excellent. So you guys are out and about and kind of shaking hands and kissing babies to celebrate your new album release. Is that right?
Yeah. All week long, we had a little in-store show over Sunday at Record Town here in Fort Worth, and we've been over to terrestrial radio, KNON, community radio. Absolutely lovely. Been run around to all the different record stores, including right next door here.
Doc's Records.
Absolutely.
Yeah, today we're recording from Hoppin. Big shout out to Michael and Holly for letting us use their space. It's a self-serve tap wall with 58 taps on the wall. THC seltzers, craft beers, wine. You guys are going to have to come back when they open up.
Yeah, a little later on.
It's a good place to pregame for sure. So, what do y'all got on the schedule for the rest of the day?
I'm flying back to Nashville, Tennessee tonight. So we shook a bunch of hands.
Yeah. It's been a long week. We kind of all fitted in at once. Of course, Roger lives in Nashville. So, yeah, being local here, we did it all in one go this week. The idea is not necessarily a band and more of it's about the records. So it's been a big week of celebrating the record and the songs.
If y'all are watching the video, we got the vinyl right here. And Progress, sung by Roger Harvey and Simon Flory. Some cool artwork here. Did y'all do this? Did y'all have somebody draft that for you?
Oh, of course, yeah. Taylor Rushing did it. He's great. Visual artist, illustrator, poster artist. And it's a record of old folk songs, early country songs, you might call them, that are for better or worse, still relevant today.
Yeah. I dude, talking about that. What's the song? We Didn't Start the Fire.
Yeah.
That was released in 1989, and it came on the radio or whatever restaurant I was at, and I'm like, man, this is so sad, right?
Yeah.
Because they're talking about this all the shit that's been going on. And they're talking about it like it's old hat, in
exactly.
89.
Same. I mean, just right around that time, there's a bunch of songs around that time for a reason, right? Of course, Berlin Wall, things like that going on.
Is that 87? Berlin Wall?
I thought it was 89.
It might have been, yeah.
I think it was. And so then you get into going back further and further, and this is just a common theme. We're talking about the way things are as how they've always been.
Right.
Yeah, and then the music, 100-year-old songs that are still so relevant today. In one way, it's a little demoralizing to look back 100 years and be like, okay, we're still singing these songs, but I think the thing about the record to us is, and folk music in general, and the thing that connected us over it is the human spirit, this kind of perseverance through things like art and music in our society. A lot of these songs were sung on the picket lines and IWW songs and at protest for unionization in the early 1900s, and people like Joe Hale, Woody Guthrie is a huge part of this. And yeah, these songs sometimes they probably feel as important no matter what year you're singing them for everybody that is connected with them, but some of these songs, it somehow seems like, unfortunately, 100 years later, they're even more important to sing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a double-edged sword, right? Like one side of it, it does seem demoralizing because are things ever going to change? And then on the other side of it, well, at least I'm not a crazy person. At least this isn't as bad as, as if it hadn't happened before.
Exactly.
It kind of makes you feel like, okay, well, in some ways, this is normal.
Yeah. we have songs as roadmaps for that, and a reminder that we're not alone, and just that spirit of hope and pushing through all that. I think that's what this record's all about.
Oh yeah.
And where can people pick this up at?
Well, you can get it at Doc's.
Doc's Records.
You can get it at Panther
City Vinyl.
Yep. Yeah, and then obviously at Record Town and at Grimey's in Nashville, and then you can buy it directly from us on the internet and listen to it on all the streaming services.
Well, we've got some listeners up there in Nashville, so maybe they can stop by that store as well.
Right on.
How did you guys get connected? How long have y'all been making music together?
2018, we went on a short tour with a friend of a friend. You were coming into Texas to play with him.
Yeah, I had kind of put a call out to some people, and I was like, who does shows in Texas? Yeah. I had come down here on support tours with different bands, but never done any headlining stuff. And I was like, I want to play in like some hole in the wall, like play in Texas, not like club circuit in Texas. And got connected with Simon and through a friend in Nashville and Zach Schmidt, and he was like, I got a buddy down there, Simon Flory. He's going to help us out. He knows the people.
Yeah.
And so Simon ended up, we got connected through that, ended up helping book a lot of the tour, and then rolled into All Good Cafe in Dallas, and there was Simon Flory.
Yeah. And he does know the people.
Fun.
That guy knows everybody.
Hey, we have a little bit of fun.
You pop up in just places. I almost said weird places, but not weird places. But just
if you're there,
if I'm there, it's weird. But you're very involved with the community. You get involved with different projects. I mean, you're all over the place. I was watching some video popped up, and I'm sorry, please forgive me because I forgot the name of the band. But it was a video of you and a couple other people in JOE in front of the Cowtown Coliseum.
Yokio.
Yeah. And it was a cool little hook. It was a short video, and I just walked around the house for the next couple of days saying, "Catch me in my dickies,"
Neon rodeo. Yeah. That's awesome, dude.
That's a cool little hook, man. So, do you work with them a lot?
No, that was a very quick, short. I mean, somebody asking me to be on an EDM hip hop song playing banjo. Of course, I'm gonna say yes. That's the kind of thing where, but that's a good connection right there. So Sam Colt from Yokio. I mean, we recorded half this record with him.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And these things happen, and you might, from the outset, you're outside of that world, and you say, why are these people that are playing EDM dance music with the old timey, folk song people? And it's pretty simple. It's more, music is still about people. It's still about community, and it's still about good people and who you want to work with. Yeah. So, I mean, just Sam's the one that Sam and Hannah show up at my shows playing, listen to me pick the banjo. Mm-hmm. And so, of course, that's going to make me curious about what they're doing. And then over the years, we've just worked together on several different projects. And, there's a vault somewhere that we're stacking a lot of it away, yeah. but not really. We're really trying to. I mean, if this is what we're doing, and we have it's my goal to, to work with as many people and collaborate with as many people as possible. But then you have what's really important to you, what really sticks, and that's what this project's all about. Because this isn't a quick record. This is more like a 5-year realization. This record progress.
We would be robbing people, and tell me if this isn't okay. But I looked up the album, which is on YouTube. Would you mind if we played a track or two from the album?
Oh yeah.
Is there one on that list that you'd like to highlight?
We've been finding it very important to showcase the song "Deportee." It's a Woody Guthrie song that was written in the '40s that is so important today, and needs to be sung.
Okay. As soon as we get past these stupid ads, I don't pay for their subscriptions. I don't believe in it.
There you go.
The crops are all in, and the peaches are rotten. The oranges are piled in the creosote dumps. They're flying them back to the Mexican border to pay all their money to wade back again. My father's own father, he waded that river. They took all the money he made in his life. My brothers and sisters got lost in the fruit trees. They rode on those trucks till they took down and died. Goodbye to Juan, bye-bye Rosalita, adios mis amigos, Jesus and Maria. You won't have your name when you ride the big airplane. All they will call you will be deportee. Some of us are illegal, some are not wanted. Our work contract's out and we have to move on. 600 miles from that Mexican border, they bust us like outlaws, like rustlers, like thieves. We died in your hills, we died in your deserts, we died in your valleys and out on your plains. We died neath your trees, we died in your factories, both sides of the river, we died just the same. Goodbye to Juan, mis amigos, Jesus and Maria. You won't have your name when you ride the big airplane. All they will call you will be deportee. Skyplane caught fire over Los Gatos Canyon, a fireball of lightning that shook all the hills. Who are these friends, all scattered like dry leaves? A wall of TVs says they're just deportees. Is this the best way to grow our big orchards? Is this the best way to grow our good fruit? To fall like dry leaves and rot in the factories, be called by no name except deportee. Goodbye to one, bye-bye Rosalita, adios mis amigos, Jesus and Maria. You won't have your name when you ride the big airplane. All they will call you will be deportee.
Damn it, man. Well, that fucked me up.
Good morning.
It's really heavy. When did you write that one?
Yeah, so that's an old Woody Guthrie song.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That
Damn it.
That happened.
Okay.
That was written in, I think, 1948, when a plane filled with migrant workers who were being deported back to Mexico out of the fruit fields went down and killed all of them, and the paper published an article that said, migrant deportees dead in this plane crash. Woody Guthrie saw it, and nobody's name was mentioned. And yeah, I just have always found it to be one of the heaviest, most heartbreaking songs in our American last 100 years. Yeah.
Damn it, man. That makes it even crazier that that's from the 40s. I had not heard that song, and I thought this is something that you must have written in the last 6 months.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, it's prescient.
That's what the record's all about. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really where it started, around these songs, around Woody Guthrie songs, and around Roger's love and lifelong, influence by Woody Guthrie. And when he came to me about the project, it happened out of we were supposed to go on a second tour in March of 2020. It was canceled.
Of course, yeah.
Starting with South by. He was on his way over from L.A. We were going to start the tour in Texas, and instead we played some tunes in the backyard 6 feet apart.
Right. Yeah.
And that started the conversation. Hey, this might be a while. Might not see you for a while. Let's talk soon.
Yeah.
And talk about maybe putting together this record. I was reluctant at first, being from the more traditional bluegrass and old time and country world. I kind of rejected even making that kind of record.
Yeah. Just because it's politically charged, or?
Oh no, not at all. Just because I've played a million traditional songs in that way. Whether it's like I was a musician for kids, artist for like 10 years. There's a lot of like crossover with Woody Guthrie there, which his kids' songs are the best, by the way. The best. They really are. They're ridiculous. And having, really studied folk music, but then going out and trying to play it, it turned into a whole different thing for me for original folk music, which is really that's what folk music is, right?
Right.
So to record it I was reluctant to do it, and then until Roger asked, and of course that's who we come from two different worlds, but also we're very much the same person. So it's been nothing but growth, personal, professional, all of that. But then to put this thing together, that's where the real challenge started. We kind of had, I don't know about a rating system, but we were really into like, hey, this song, does it fit? How does it fit thematically? It all had to live in the same world and like speak not to the exact same thing, but to further the conversation. So
right. Okay.
Lots of Woody Guthrie, but then I wanted to add bluegrass and old time and country songs.
So there's probably a good handful of songs that were considered to be on this album that you didn't include.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah, it was really about like what songs speak to this moment the most. Folk music is so interesting because I come from the punk rock. I grew up in punk rock, and I gravitated towards people like Woody Guthrie somehow through some avenue, through a lot of the ideas and ideologies that I was raised in punk rock communities, and fell in love with folk music because as I was starting to grow into my teenage years and, trying to speak truth to power, but feeling less angsty and more like this is the reality of our world and how can we change things, I really started to fall in love as like a young, I guess even preteen then, but like with these folk songs that were kind of speaking about these important human problems and struggles, but in a way that was more inclusive to all-encompassing. And that's the interesting thing about folk music. We connected over this kind of political people songs, working people struggle songs, but folk music, like country music, can be something so different to so many people. So this is the thing that we wanted to illuminate, is like, this is what we think folk music is good for, not that it's not good. And an all-encompassing, you just like to pick the songs and not, but we're deep dudes, and so
well, it's
we
the
like to
flavor of this album,
things,
right? You might get into something totally different with your next project, but this is 5 years in the making, it sounds like.
Yeah, well, I mean, really, start to finish.
Yeah, one thing that I think is interesting is like talking about the bluegrass, wanting to put in we had this idea of like, well, let's lighten the mood a little bit,
because that was one of the heaviest things.
We meant to hit you hard.
You did.
First off.
And and then that's the interesting thing, is as we discovered that and started getting into those songs, we started realizing like, well, the upbeat songs are also speaking to the same thing. And it is working people's struggle.
That 9 Pound Hammer.
Yeah.
A lot of people know that song, and then you dig into that song, well, good golly, it's about work and work and work, and not just, hey, it's work and it's unfair. It's deeper than that, especially some of these old tunes. So let's say a song like Pictures from Life's Other Side. We recorded that. That is a song from Hank Williams sang it. He had an alter ego called Luke the Drifter, and Luke the Drifter would do recitations that were too sad and low down and busted. Now, this is Hank Williams, because he knew they wouldn't be hits, so he used a different name.
Okay.
And it was just about literally observations of what's going on. Well, he recorded this traditional song that by that point was already 50 or 100 years old.
Yeah.
In 1952. It was released posthumously right after he died. And so it was already that old. So the lens has already, or the song has already picked up that many references. Well, what we did is we fast forward to 2020, in this process somewhere, we actually then updated some of the songs. So for instance, like a 9 Pound Hammer, there are going to be songs that would reference things like the prohibition on alcohol, Hoppin, right?
Right.
And so we just tweak that to be about the prohibition on marijuana.
Yeah.
Just simple things. Or it might mention, not wanting to follow a corporate overlord, like the guy who owns Rolls Royce. Well, we changed that to the guy that owns Tesla. So it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. It's light, And taking good care of it, right? Taking care of the songs just like they took care of us.
Yeah, didn't take much changing.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It wasn't big, massive things, but just light references and things.
I've read books that do the same thing, where it's an old book, but they just update just a few tweaks here and there to make it sound more modern. And,
I just finished.
Full circle back to what we're talking about. Like, nothing seems to really change.
Nothing changes, right.
I just finished Demon Copperhead. Have you read that book?
I have
that
not.
one? It's an adaptation of Charles Dickens' David Copperfield, but it set in Appalachia, and it's kind of about the struggles of addiction and the opioid crisis. It's a fantastic, powerful book. But yeah,
same idea.
That's what folk music is, and that's something that's so interesting about the Woody Guthrie tunes. Getting into these traditional songs is like, how do you credit all of them? Because you've got people who were. It wasn't like it is today, where there's this kind of idea of individuality and artistic and ownership over things. Woody Guthrie didn't believe in that, and folk music, in its essence, was as this sharing kind of legacy process. So you have all these Woody Guthrie songs that you could be like, oh, they're Woody Guthrie songs, but also they were just 100-year-old songs already when he picked them up and started, or they were his buddies, like a Lead Belly song, Ramblin' Round, which is just Good Night Irene, just with different words.
Then we have, I don't know if you would want to listen to another one.
Yeah, for sure.
But I would want to speak about this exact same thing. There's a song that was written here in Fort Worth in the 1950s by a guy named Dick Reinhardt, and he was one of those early Light Crust Doughboys, Milton Brown and his Brownies, all those early Western swing bands that started around Fort Worth. And so he started around with those guys and written a song called Fort Worth Jail, which is, I don't know if you've ever done this, where you're looking for a Fort Worth song, so you just type it in Spotify. It's those, there's about 20 of them that mention Fort Worth. Of course, Fort Worth Blues being or Fort Worth I Love You by John Michael Michael.
It's a really good book by a local author that covers all that stuff.
All the songs?
Well, not all the songs, but the movement. And
nice. But this tune by Dick Reinhardt was written, it's about something that's a time-honored tradition here in Fort Worth. You go to the stockyards, get drunk. I don't know, you might get into a little bit of trouble. And it was about landing in jail and just getting out the other day and being hungover. Well, today, as you know, if you land in jail today, in the Tarrant County Jail, that might be a death sentence. So, every other week, on average, it's been every other week we've had a death in the jail. And as
a really startling statistic on that is that more people have died in the Tarrant County Jail than in death row this previous year. That's insane.
That is insane.
And it's got to stop.
No, it absolutely has
to. And I know that those jailers, the people that work in corrections, because I myself worked in corrections for 2 years, and it's such a wild thing to ask people to do, because you're in charge of their safety, but you also have to protect. You have to protect them from each other.
Right.
You have to protect yourself.
Right.
And every single one of them is trying to get one over on the people that are in charge of the facility or whatever. So you can't trust them whenever they tell you something. So if somebody says, "Hey, boss man, my chest is hurting," there's a pretty good chance that they're going to either overlook that or ignore it entirely, because they just heard it from 50 other people over the last week, and every single one of them was lying about it or something. And that doesn't excuse it.
No,
but these are humans, and they're going to make mistakes.
That's a leadership down thing. I really haven't ever, there's only a few cases, actually, and they've all been highlighted, where it's about the involvement of corrections officers, right? There's really only been a few.
Yeah.
It's been mostly about the leadership, which is to have more oversight, which is basically what it is. Have more medical oversight as well, which shouldn't be on the jailers, right? Those guys aren't all EMS. So we it's more about medical oversight. It's more about mental health intervention. It's more about, it's about those things. And so this song, I don't know, it was one of those where it's very, very simple. It is just about that exact thing, which is, to us, which is, hey, this is a song that's about an experience that people have, but how has it changed today? And so Fort Worth Jail kind of.
And just so I don't
out.
sound like I'm placating too much towards the correctional officers, the numbers that are coming out of our local jail are absolutely unacceptable, and it doesn't matter what it takes. They've got to fix it.
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely. Yeah, no, I agree. You said it best when you're like humans.
Yeah,
that's what we're talking about here.
100%.
Yeah,
and not to excuse any of it, but you do have to factor that in somewhere.
Absolutely. I mean, that's why I say I just have not even the human side of it, the interaction and the people. You need systematic change.
Someday it's just going to be robots, I'm sure.
Oh,
right?
God. Don't get us started. Don't get us started.
Oh,
dude. Yeah. Roger being a bartender, and here we are in the automated.
I know. It's all going self-checkout, and we read a story off on the morning show today about Walmart extending a contract now 4 years further to do drone deliveries. And yet another reason not to leave your home and to let these local businesses fold up.
I am blown away. The drone delivery thing, how would it make it into my yard without getting shot down? That's just all I'm saying. That was my first thought. I mean, maybe it's because I grew up out in the country shooting everything out of the sky, but I'm telling myself. But,
nothing illegal.
Yeah, nothing
endangered.
Illegal. Oh, my God. So funny. But, I don't.
Well, let's get into this track. What's the Fort Worth Jail?
Yeah,
play that
Fort
one?
Worth Jail.
Okay. Yeah. See if I can back this thing up. Let's try that. Oh, you bastard. Hold on a second. Got ads. Come on. We can do this. Oh, another ad. We're almost there, folks. Hold on one second.
I love this.
Anybody want a Jackery?
No, I don't. I'm good.
Way down in the Fort Worth jailhouse, feeling kinda low. Ain't nobody cares about me, 'cause I ain't got no dough. I woke up on the sidewalk, and they hauled me into jail. They said, son, you're off to prison, 'cause you ain't go your bail. Put me in a cell so dreary, and they turned them lights down low. Fed me lies and courthouse bacon, said they never let me go. 10 long days and now I'm going down that weary road so long, dreaming of my brown-eyed baby who died all alone. All you rambling folks, take warning when you're in that big cow town. Don't go sleeping on the sidewalk, Sheriff Bill will cut you down.
Don't go sleeping on that sidewalk.
Sheriff Bill might get you.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's extremely relevant still.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I updated it with Sheriff Bill, but some of those early versions of that song.
Put that mic a little closer to me.
Some of those early versions of those songs didn't really inform this at all. That's kind of the thing. You can take a song like that and remove it from its context. It still makes sense, obviously, of what we have going on today. But then seeing it in a new way, in terms of like, I wanted to play it as a banjo song, as you can imagine that, it's just supposed to be a stark song. But other versions of that song are like Gene Autry has like a singing cowboy version of that song with an orchestra behind it. That did not speak to me at all. Or
it wouldn't fit. Yeah.
No, Ernest Tubb has a version that's like very lighthearted. Like you'd want to dance, in the big counterclockwise hurricane circle over at Red's Little Longhorn to it. Oh, this is nice, But I something that just weighed heavy on us to be able to, speak to what's going on nationally, like with humanitarily, to everybody, but also really, locally as well.
Yeah. I think what we were talking about before we listened about everything going in this, nobody's leaving the house. You said something about like the drone deliveries. It's like that. The antithesis of that is what folk music to us is. It's what brought us into community with one another. It's what landed us into this project. And a beautiful thing about folk music is just caring about it and being a part of that legacy. And I think that's the thing that we're kind of promoting is because progress, we have to get together and be with one another to move the needle forward. And if we're all isolated and we're all alone, then we just make up the craziest shit.
Yeah, it's too easy. It's too easy.
So it's so important to be involved in your community, to be sitting down and having the conversations about these things, looking people in the eyes that you maybe on the surface, now that everything's so divisive and so like there's us and them. I think you always say it best, like it's just, when it comes to working people, it's just us. Mm-hmm. And the working people's struggle being the backbone of folk music because of where it comes from and all of the different confluence of origins of where it comes from and all of the oppression that comes along with that and struggle, but also the perseverance and the joy. The joy part is such a big part of what we capture through song and through whether that's singing together, standing together, talking with one another, walking out of a room and thinking, that softened the way that I view the world, and it gives you hope. And that's what we're searching for with these songs, is like, one, an acknowledgement of the hardship, but it's that thing where if you acknowledge the hardship together, then you can regroup and start to move forward. And I think that a lot of that is a big essence of the record.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Song like we did a version of "Keep on the Sunny Side," and that song to me is that it's. I remember at some point somebody said to me, it's such a trope, I think, but like, play a happy song, play "You Are My Sunshine." You listen to the words of that song, it's very dark.
That's the darkest song.
It's one of the, but because of...
I'm going to have to re-explore that.
Yeah.
When I, the other night, dear, when I was sleeping, I dreamed I held you into my arms. When I woke, dear, I was mistaken. I only held your charm.
Oh, my God.
And,
like,
but...
what?
I think "Keep on the Sunny Side" lives in that space where it's
Absolutely.
like, play something happy. It's, keep... Don't talk about politics.
Yeah,
Don't talk about... You listen to that song and you're transported right back to just moments in American history of hardship. The reason why people rallied around that is because it is a song of perseverance. I started singing it coming out of lockdown, going back out on the road for the first time, and there was all this kind of fraught, like, how can the venue stay open? Should artists be out here doing it? Should people be in the clubs? And going and singing that song and revisiting that song, I connected with it because that's what it's about. It's about working through hard times together, having one another's back, and persevering through that. And it's a song of hope. And that, to me, is like the thing that I found in folk music as a young person that just totally exploded my world.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate the way you articulated that, because I'm constantly trying to encourage people to get out and be part of the community, because it seems like there's less face-to-face, being around people and just having a sense of community. It seems like with social media and everything else we're getting crammed down our throats, we're forced to have kind of a global look at society and life, but it really is, your neighbor next door, your firehouse right down the street. The thing that people should get excited about is voting locally and you know,
Absolutely.
the people that manage your water and your electricity here locally, that's what really matters. All this shit that you see on the news happening nationally or larger, globally, matters very little compared to the impact you have right here in your community. And with people staying inside, your record is great because that gets past the door and into their ears and hearts, and they don't have to go out to get the same message that you would expect people to kind of come around to on their own just by being around folks and being part of their community. So your music gets past that, but it's still important to get folks out of their house. And then with automation and drones and all the bullshit, like people are just staying in their little closets.
I've found myself, I think, like so many, because there's so much doom and there's so much just fear crammed down our throats all the time. I find myself always coming back to that. Like sometimes it seems like getting involved in your community, whether that's the neighbor next door or anything that's important to you, to go and put your hands on it in your community and look people in the eyes. It seems like sometimes it feels like the only thing that we can do to rediscover hope in our society, because it's so much doom when you, and that's what I'm down here in Texas doing with this record. Is it's been so rewarding to be invited into Simon's world, because he is such a figure of the community here and so loved, and to be able to be accepted by the community here as an outsider through this record. It's just beautiful to see all of that in motion, because you don't see as much of that as you used to.
I'm glad you guys got connected. Any big shows coming up? Are y'all going to be touring or doing anything like that?
I mean, the big thing for us is this is everything we just talked about was all conversations we've had. It's all time spent back and forth between Nashville and here to make this one big statement. And really, it's kind of a clean slate, like jumping off point for our next records as well. We're both songwriters, we're both solo artists. We both just finished, like completed brand new records. So in the can, ready to go.
Okay, so this is the finish line, right?
Yeah, this is like
for this project.
Yeah, it's not the finish line
physically, maybe.
But we've been very specific about the way that, as to people who are artists, songwriters who make our own records, and it's so hard to do that hustle. It's so hard financially to invest into that. So there have been. We're very focused on this record. Like we wanted to make this piece. We wanted to add our stamp to the legacy of what we care about of folk music, and we wanted people to listen to it. I love the idea. Like so many people in my life who I grew up with and who have family networks and have had kids, like are writing and saying that they're listening to this at the house with their families, and that to me was like really one of my main goals. I've never made a record that really could kind of be. I make music for adults most of the time, you know. So and this is a very heavy, very adult record, but also you can put it on with your kids and you can start to, I don't know, hopefully bring something better into this world if people can discover these things just like we did. I believe that there's a pathway forward in that.
Yeah, I'm really glad you guys pressed it on vinyl. I see some musicians doing that, but not everybody does, and it is a huge financial burden.
It's a big accomplishment. I always say that it's such an impressive thing to do. I always remind all my artist friends, because sometimes when you're an artist, you're so in the hustle that you forget to look at the people around you and say, "You did an amazing thing." And there's something about. It's a big accomplishment. It costs money, takes a lot of time, and
a lot of decisions, a lot of conversations, a lot of work went into that by a lot of people behind the scenes, let alone,
And that's what everybody involved loves to do. Yeah. That's what we love to do with our time and love to create these things. So.
Yeah, it's the team-wise, it's people that want to do the project. It's same with like the band, a lot of Fort Worth folks that you just heard, Morris Holdall and Abel Casillas from Squeezebox and Summer Dean, Gary Grammer and Bo Brower from Summer's Band and Thieving Birds, and a bunch of folks came together to make this record. Grant Jackson Wilburn from Ryan Bingham, and people that want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then when we brought this project to Hand Drawn Pressing up in North Dallas, they jumped right on. Yeah, and they helped us put it out.
That's awesome.
So that was sweet. So every piece of it's been touched by somebody who was invested in the project.
Yeah.
More so than just getting an email from,
somebody
from a major label. Yeah, it's like somebody's somebody who wrote an email to say, "Hey, I need these 10,000 units." That's not what this is. This is, and that's not even a humble brag. That's because this is a ton of work just to get a few of these copies in the world. And honestly, a 12x12 is the palette, like literal art. Right. That's the canvas that it needs to be seen on. But more importantly, it needs to be heard on the Black Circle, because a lot of it was recorded to tape. A lot of it was recorded just us in one room, and it is the best recreation of the sound.
Nice.
Speaks to the intention of everything and the legacy of it. And just like we were connected by all this stuff, every person involved, that's what connects all of us. And that is such a rewarding part of that. And that's something that as artists, we understand those things and we understand those interests. And of course, we all have our diversified interest, but it's such a beautiful, artistic communities are a beautiful thing, because these are the legacies. These are the songs that connect us. I mean, I think about when Gary came in playing harmonica, and he's like, just tears because of what all these songs, just like we have this emotional connection. Everybody involved on the musician side, I feel like, gravitated towards the project, was so down for it. One, because of the communities that they've built and their connection to Simon, and two, because these songs, they were really excited about doing these songs.
Yeah. Yeah, that is great. So just a huge community project. And this is mostly your network here in the DFW area.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of all the musicians that played on it, absolutely. And that was the intention from the start. Roger said, hey, if we're going to do this, we're not going to, the way that we normally do things, which is, maybe going to a studio with folks that you have found or you may or may not know, and the player that is right for this. This was more about just the people that we got together.
Yeah.
And a lot of people knew the songs. A lot of folks just, I don't know, that wasn't the hard part, the recording. That wasn't. It was all the work beforehand and afterwards, the recording part. And then to say that and compare that to other records that I've made, I know this is probably true for you as well, Roger, like those were grueling recording sessions, but yet I wasn't always satisfied with them. Everything that happened on this record that you hear on it, I'm absolutely blown away by what everybody's doing on it.
That's perfect.
It's just, it's heartfelt when it needs to be, but it's also really fun. And so people like kicking a lot of ass playing tunes,
Going down this road.
We touched on it. We had you on a episode that we did out there at Southside Preservation Hall, Keegan McEnroe, and they were
Fort Worth Songwriter Festival.
Yes, thank you. I was struggling there.
What a fun little festival.
But you mentioned during that recording, just how collaborative Fort Worth and the music community is here, and I love hearing stuff like that. And the fact that so many people had their hands on this record is it's awesome. I love hearing stuff like that.
As the outsider in the group, it's been not just that specific part of the community, but at first, like driving around in this town now. Through this project, I've fallen in love with Fort Worth because of that. It is.
You'll be moving here soon, I promise.
I just
tell him, Simon.
I just want to. I always want to say, like, I can never say out loud enough. Like, when you're involved in something, it's not that you don't have a lot of gratitude for it or know how amazing it is, but an outsider can always see it a lot more. And so it's just Fort Worth is an amazing place, amazing artistic community, amazing community, period.
That's why I harp on it too, because people from outside of our community will visit and they'll make that comment. And for people that just kind of swim in this water all the time, they get used to it, a little numb to the fact that this is unique. This is not normal. Right.
Yeah, I agree. It's for me, it's like it's probably what we talked about originally, which is just like the the intersection of all of the arts here and all the different mediums. It's like all those lines are blurred here in Fort Worth. Folks just work together. Hey, you want to do a podcast? Yeah, meet me at 9 a.m. on a Wednesday. Absolutely. Yeah. Fantastic. And so it's support, but it's not everybody talking about the almighty dollar all the time.
Right.
We're doing it for the real reason, intention.
To uplift the community.
Yeah.
It's such a precarious thing, too. It's like, can't be taken for granted because it can go away without that human energy, too.
Yep.
But luckily, the more good people you have doing cool things, the more other people are going to be inspired to kick around and do cool things.
That's right.
Yeah.
Roger, Simon, y'all got any places that you want people to follow you along? Instagram, Bandcamp?
Sure.
We're on it all.
Yeah.
And my name is Roger Harvey, and you can find it very easily.
Yeah, same. There's one other Simon Flory, and he blocked me on Facebook.
Why would he do that?
Well, he's a badger specialist in England.
A badger specialist.
Yeah, and I hope he's listening right now. He lives in England, and I started following him, and he had sweet names for all of his badgers that he would go see in the weekends, like Mr. Wiggles and Mrs. Pumpkin. Yeah, seriously. And I was going overseas to play in the UK, and I was on tour in Wisconsin, and I was at a gas station, and they had a stuffed badger, and I took a picture with the badger, and I sent it to him and said, "Let's meet up." But of course, my stuffed badger was dead, and he hangs out with live badgers. And
wait, is that caused a rift?
That's when he blocked me.
Damn.
Yeah, I know.
Ice cold.
Ice cold.
Could have been a cultural misunderstanding.
I think so. We
lost in translation.
Hey, we stuff our animals because we love them in the States.
Well, guys, thank y'all for doing this. Thanks for making Fort Worth Roots part of your rollout for this album.
Thank you so much for having us.
Can we do it again?
Yeah,
excellent.
Absolutely.
Okay. What are y'all off to now? Is it time for breakfast?
Yeah.
Time for breakfast.
That's right.
Let's go get some food. Thank y'all for listening to this episode. We'll see you next week.
Cheers. Thank y'all.
All right, you can find all of our guests' information on the show notes, so make sure and give them a follow, take a look, get creative, enjoy some stuff. It's in the show notes. Just check that out. Again, we do a morning episode at 8 a.m. Monday through Thursday at a place called Hoppin. It's a great little venue. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, you come in, you get an armband, they link it to your debit card, and then you're off on your own adventure. You can check out their entire wall of beers. It only charges you for what you put in the cup, so you can do it an ounce at a time. 58 different thingies on the wall. You got wine, craft beer, THC seltzers, ciders, and then they have a full cocktail bar. So don't get it in your head that it's just about the beer, because their cocktails are hoppin' at Hoppin'. I'm sorry. I don't know. I did it anyway. So check out the morning show. It's weather, it's news stories, and it's all centralized around Fort Worth. We do talk about stuff abroad, but it all starts right here in your backyard. So check that out. It's on all streaming services. Just look for Fort Worth Roots. Okay. Whew. This Tuesday nights, you can join us at McFly's Pub. We do a live recording in front of a live audience, and it starts at 5 o'clock. We always have hot pizza and an audience microphone so that you guys can get in on the recording. Got a new awesome guest every week, and usually it's a musician. And if it is a musician, they get up on stage and they play for us. Unless they don't feel like it. That's happened before, too. But we always have fun. It's always great. So, anyway, McFly's Pub, 5 o'clock every Tuesday. Come see me. What else? All sorts of crazy stuff going on. We've got Bikini Wells this Thursday, 7 o'clock at the usual. We're going to be doing a podcast recording with them. This is a one-off. This is not something we do regularly. Although we love John and his crew, Todd. Those guys are great. So we'd love to work with them, do some more stuff in the future. Some pretty cool dudes. So usual, Thursday, 7 o'clock. No cover. It's going to be fun. What else? What else? I guess that's it. Yeah, make sure you go to the show notes and follow our guests today. Let's talk about these sponsors real quick. This is how we keep the lights on here at Fort Worth Roots. And, podcasting, it's so funny, man, because if you get out there and you start talking to other podcasters, it kind of seems like 99% of them think they're just going to get picked up and be famous overnight, and somebody's just going to write them a big check. Doesn't work like that. So you got to find creative ways to get yourself funded. And what we did is we decided, well, this is all about supporting small businesses and providing stages for musicians. So we went out to locally owned businesses that have a very high rating. We made sure that we liked what they were doing, and then extended the offer. We have turned down people that have called or emailed us asking to be sponsors of the show, and we did it because we didn't trust their business. So just want you to know that whenever we do this, we're vetting these guys. We're making sure that they have an impeccable record with the community. You can go to fortworthroots.com, hit that trusted sponsors tab, and see everybody's information that's supporting the Fort Worth Roots podcast. And it is about keeping Fort Worth dollars in Fort Worth pockets. You vote with your dollar. And if you just spend all your money at these national outfits, Chick-fil-A, Applebee's, Chili's, stuff like that, and it's not just about food, but you know what I'm saying. If we don't support these small businesses who are all struggling right now, they will just go away. So anyway, figure out how to put Fort Worth dollars back in Fort Worth pockets. Go to fortworthroots.com and hit that trusted sponsors tab. Hoppin Fort Worth, located at 2616 Weisenberger, on Instagram as Hoppin FWTX. This is a rad little spot, and we just talked about it, so we'll move on from that. Donovan Manufacturing just joined the Fort Worth Roots family. This is pretty cool. This is something that I wanted to do just because I wanted to do it. And some of you are going to find some value in this, and some of you are not. Night vision, thermals, machine gun rentals, AR-15 parts, classes, and more. But aside from that, they also have a print shop. So if you need banners, pamphlets, any kind of printed material, laser engraving for some of your swag for your business, they can do that for you. Just reach out to them by email, dylan@dylan-press.com, or find them on Facebook as Dylan-Press. We get all of our printed material from them now. They're great. And we just released an episode with Donovan Manufacturing. So check that out on our catalog. It's, I don't remember what episode. We're putting out so many daggum episodes now. But it is Donovan Manufacturing. And the name of the episode is Stretch Murder Wagon. And you'll have to listen to find out why. But it's rad. These guys are cool, and we're really happy to have them on board. Purple Web Consulting. PurpleWebConsulting.com, website design and hosting, e-commerce integration, digital strategy, and consulting. Their phone number is 817-629-6069. They are putting together our website right now, and he is simply waiting on me for the finishing touches so that we can hit the launch button. But it's such a beautiful website, and I've had this very basic website for a long time, and I'm really excited to get this new thing going. So prepare yourself for that. FortWorthRoots.com is about to get a huge upgrade. Thank you to Purple Web Consulting, and I'll stop dragging my feet and give you what you need so that we can get that going. It's done. There's a few things. So anyway, I'm sorry. I'll work on it. Fort Worth Float Company. We talked about them at the beginning of the episode. I'm doing the cold water plunge, 40-degree water for 5 minutes, and I am seeing some massive health benefits. Inflammation, soreness, just all over my body. I'm old, guys. I was telling Michelle this morning from the body scrubber, we were talking about feeling old. I'm not 40 yet. I'm getting there real quick, but I've got a lot of miles on this chassis. And just putting myself in that cold water for 5 minutes a day has decreased inflammation, my joints, I'm not as sore as I typically am whenever I get that done in the mornings. So it's been really good for me. Other thing, plantar fasciitis, which help me God, I didn't know that was a thing I was ever going to have to deal with. I've always been pretty limber. Well, I'm not anymore. And my foot, one morning I got up out of bed, took a step out of the bed, and I couldn't walk, man. My foot just gave up. And this went on for a few days. It kept getting worse and worse and worse. And finally Megan's like, yeah, you have plantar fasciitis. She did the WebMD, figured it out. And I'm like, I don't have plantar fasciitis. That's something old people get or something. No, I totally have it. So anyway, so I thought this was a coincidence. The first day that I went in and did the cold water plunge, which, by the way, the first day is miserable. Your body doesn't know how to handle it. You almost go into shock. It's really rough. I lasted, I think, 2 minutes that day. But after that, my foot problem went away. And so I'm like, oh, cool. Well, it's probably just a coincidence. So we kept doing it. And by day 4, the cold water plunge is super simple. And you actually get to where you're kind of enjoying it. And now on day 23, I look forward to it. It's not an issue anymore. You don't have that trauma like you do on day 1. But anyway, in between all this, it's supposed to be a 30-day challenge. There's scheduling issues and whatnot. So there's been a couple of times through this process where I'd miss a day, 2 days, even 3. And it started coming back. I could feel it. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Okay, so it's not a coincidence. It is actually helping my foot. So general inflammation, the foot thing, but also I think there's a mental health aspect to it as well. Like I have better days whenever I do that. And somebody more intelligent could articulate it better, but I think all in all it's a win, and it's definitely something that you should try out, but don't try it just once. I would tell you to go do it and then make sure you've got it scheduled for maybe the next 3 days so that you can make a fair assessment of it. Do it for 4 days and then find out if it's for you. If you're not going to do it for 4 days, it's not worth doing once. I don't think. Kevin may strangle me for saying that, but I really do think that you need to schedule yourself for like 4 consecutive days just to really get a feel for it. Anyway, Fort Worth Float Company, it's not just about the cold plunge. They do have deprivation tanks in there, and I think me and Kevin will probably figure out some way to make a thing out of that, because this is, in my opinion, it's the best service he's got, is the deprivation tank. If you can just kind of use your imagination, it's the closest thing I think you're going to get to like 0 G's on your body. Everybody walking around on the planet Earth is at 1 G, and there's no way to get out of that except go up in space, right? Well, I don't know about you, but I'm working on a budget. So I think the only way that you're going to feel that kind of effect is in a float tank, a deprivation tank, and it takes all the weight off of your spine and your joints, and you're able to sit in there for like an hour. I think you can also do an hour and a half, but it's super relaxing, and you can do your own research as far as the health benefits of that. But I think just for like your spine, just getting all the weight off your spine for an hour, to me, it seems like just intuitively that's got to be worth something. But we're going to probably jump into exploring that later on. Anyway, Fort Worth Float Company. They're on Instagram as FW Float Company. All right, that's enough on that. The Davis team, look no further than our friends at the Davis team for all of your property needs. They've already sold 2 homes for us at Fort Worth Roots and helped us find and close on our most recent purchase. We wouldn't have accepted any other offer of sponsorship from a real estate agent in Fort Worth because in the back of our minds, we would have always known the best was still out there. There's no commitment necessary. If you have questions about property, then visit them online, yourdavesteam.com, or give them a call at 817-755-0504. And listen, even if you're just if you have a question about your property tax or anything else that has to do with real estate, you can call them and they're happy to walk you through it, give you good information, tell you where to search more information, whatever. These are the guys that we turn to when we've got a property question. Again, that's 817-755-0504. No commitment necessary. Galaxy Wilderness Disc Golf. Galaxy Wilderness is dedicated to promoting disc golf to the masses for its health benefits through outdoor therapy, exercise, and camaraderie. Find them on Facebook as Galaxy Wilderness Disc Golf. You can email them at galaxywildernessdg@gmail.com, and you can get them on the phone at 682-228-0399. My buddy Joe, we met on a television show called Flip or Flop Fort Worth, and it went 1 season. And anyway, I met Joe. He was doing tree stuff. He was the tree guy, and I was the landscaping guy. And together, we muddled our way through an entire season on that show. And I got to know Joe, got to trust in him, and he's just a really excellent dude. I don't think he does trees anymore. I think he got out of that business, much like I got out of landscaping. It's a lot of damn work. But he started this new thing up where he will take the disc golf baskets to your event and set them all up and give you the equipment. You literally need nothing. He brings all of it. And they also have a nighttime version of it. The baskets glow. There's some LED lights involved. The discs are glow in the dark. It's really rad. So if you're looking for something unique to do with your next party, event, retreat, reunion, team building, fundraiser, whatever, give Joe a call, 682-228-0399. They're also online at galaxywildernessdg.com. Wanted to make sure I said that right, so I went and I looked up the website. It's a cool little website. I don't know who made it, but it should have been Purple Web Consulting. Yeah, our buddy Jeff Zero over there at Purple Web Consulting, our homie. Where was I? Hold on. Losing composure. Give me just a second. I'm doing something. It's not going to work. Okay, quit it, Andrew. The Body Scrubbery, our friend Michelle, you can find her on Instagram at The Body Scrubbery or online, thebodyscrubbery.com. Her phone number is 925-808-8222. And should probably let you guys know about the dating show that she's putting on. The Fort Worth Dating Show. We did this a few weeks ago, and it was awesome. Everybody had a really good time, and we figured some things out. Some things that don't work and some things that do. But everybody was awesome, and we had a great time. But there were some things that needed to be fixed. We have fixed those things. So if you did come out to the last one, just know that this one is going to be even better. And what we do is we have the person that asks the question, right? The one that gets to decide who she's going to date or he's going to date. And then on the other side of the wall are 3 contestants. And she has to decide who she's going to pick or he's going to pick by the way they answer the questions. They don't get to see each other. They don't know anything about each other other than what's in the questions. So it's a lot of fun. And I was looking something up on my phone for you, and I totally forgot. Oh, I wanted to verify the date. It is on the 21st, and I believe it starts at 7 o'clock, and I believe we're doing it at Hoppin. So more details to follow on, or to tell you guys about. But follow along on Instagram at The Body Scrubbery or the Fort Worth Dating Show, Fort Worth Dating Game, or Fort Worth Roots on all the social medias, because we'll keep you up to date on that. The Body Scrubbery is a boutique and unique spa experience. Don't cheat yourself, treat yourself. Luxury foot spa, full body scrubs, infrared heat wraps, massage, bubble tub, mud wraps, facials, couples packages, and small group parties. It's a rad little spot, and yes, it is locally owned and operated, and Michelle would love for you to come out and just relax. Let her take care of you. Again, that's thebodyscrubbery.com, located on Pennsylvania Avenue. Boulevard Brew, our buddy Brad over there giving out great coffee in a rad little space right off River Oaks Boulevard. It's got a cozy little bar scene in the back with a new home for local musicians. Give these guys a try next time you need a coffee or a place to chill. I go out there most Sundays. I put my laptop on the excellent Wi-Fi connection, and I get so much work done. It's just a good environment for it. I don't know about you, but I can't get anything done work related when I'm at the house. This weekend, she got more work out of me than I think she's ever gotten me to do at the house, like ever. We drilled 16 holes with a one-man auger, and I planted 16 8-foot posts in the ground for a new garden. And then she was working too. She put 6 raised garden beds together using wood planks, like fencing planks, and it looks really dope. But you boys wore out. That thing whooped me. If you've never used a one-man auger before, it's dangerous and it hurts. And I took a lot of ibuprofen before I went to bed, and I am taking ibuprofen today too. So pray for me. Maybe I'll make it. I should go to the Body Scrubbery and have a great massage. That would be the thing to do. But who's got time for it right now? That's why you need to schedule it out, and you can do that online. Okay. Eaton Data Solutions. We work to have relationships with vendor partners who specialize in different methods of vulnerability detection and management. Now, what does that mean? Eaton Data Solutions protects small businesses from data theft. Our buddy at Eaton Data Solutions, he's been doing this for a long time for a large company that protects the big boys, the big businesses from data theft. But as he was doing this, he realized, well, none of the small businesses can afford the company I work for. And as it turns out, over the years, these internet bullies, they've started targeting small businesses. So Eaton Data Solutions was created to take care of medium and small businesses. And you can find them at EatonDataSolutions.com. There's a tab where you can book an appointment, and his team will show up and show you where you're vulnerable and how to protect yourself. So this is something that you definitely want to do before it's a problem, because once they've got your data, what they do is they will put an encryption key around it, and if you want your data back, they're going to tell you what the price is, and you pay them, and then they either will or will not give you the passcode for that encryption key. And by the way, if they do actually give you the encryption key and you get your data back, you got days or weeks before they do it to you again. That's what they do. So protect yourself. EatonDataSolutions.com. Our buddy Darren Houck over at Roofing Solutions by Darren Houck. They are a residential and commercial roofing company that has earned the trust of our community. Literally, absolutely verifiable, the number one roofing company in the DFW area based off of their ratings. And the Houck family, have been taking care of Fort Worth roots for years now. We absolutely love these guys, and there is no other option. Better, you might find something out there. Surely there's another local company that's as honest and as reputable as Darren Houck, but it'd be impossible to beat them in those in that aspect. So check them out, roofingsolutionsHouck.com. Also, you can get them by phone, 817-882-6520. McFly's Pub. We are out there every Tuesday. We want you guys to come have fun with us. That is our night. We get that stage for 2 hours every Tuesday, and we take an interesting guest from around Fort Worth, usually musicians, local artists, but other people too. We've had the Davis team out there to talk about their new 501c, and we've got an author booked in April, so it's not always musicians, but most of the time it is, and they will play for us after we do the recording. It's a lot of fun. Fort Worth Roots brings pizza, and we provide an audience microphone so that you guys can get in on the recording. So, lots of fun. That's every Tuesday, 5 o'clock. Anyway, McFly's Pub is a badass little 1980s Back to the Future themed bar with an excellent outdoor patio. They've got 2 stages, by the way, one inside and one out. Big old fire pit, room for your fur baby. It is dog friendly. Daily drink specials and fun activities almost every day of the week. And you need to go check them out on Instagram, McFly's Pub, because they do always have really crazy stuff going on. They've got midget wrestling. And the last time they did this, it was insane. It was absolutely packed. And it was a lot of fun. These guys, I believe, are straight out of Mexico, and they come up here and do this show. And it is an absolute spectacle. These actors, these athletes really know what they're doing, and it's one hell of a show. So follow along McFly's Pub on Instagram or Fort Worth Roots. We make sure and update you on that. I know I've got a post up right now about that, but it's happening this month, so don't miss out. I believe general admission tickets are $25. You can get those online right now, and I would not be surprised if they sell out. So I don't know that they were sold out last time, but you could not pack another human into that yard. So they should have been sold out if they weren't. I know I showed up and paid full price at the door. So anyway, Tres Amigos Tacos and Tequila. Our buddy Sandy over there brings a fresh perspective and culinary expertise to Tres Amigos, continuing the spirit of female-led entrepreneurship and the culinary excellence that Chef Paul was known for. 909 West Magnolia Avenue, Fort Worth, Texas, 76104. And if I'm giving you a recommendation, you got to try those shrimp tacos. I think it's the Baja grilled shrimp tacos. My God. Every time I go in there. And Sandy's like, you got to try something else. I'm like, okay. This is what I like, Sandy. But they have great food. Great food, excellent bar setup. It's over there on Magnolia next to the Boiled Owl. Great spot. Cloudland Recording Studios, our buddy Joe Tacky over there is an analog and digital recording studio located in the heart of Fort Worth, Texas, just 1 mile from downtown and 5 minutes from the near Southside Entertainment District of Magnolia. If you are a recording artist, or even if you're not but thinking about becoming one, these are the guys that you want on your team. Putting out some excellent content. Our buddy Richard Keller who stops in from time to time, not to brag, here on the Fort Worth Roots podcast. He does his recording at Cloudland Recording Studio, and I heard his most recent album, and it's amazing. Go check it out. Cloudland Recording Studios is online at cloudlandrecordingstudio.com. Baez Maintenance Services, I hope I'm saying that right, BAEZMaintenance.com is where you can find these folks, or get them by phone, 817-528-3056. BMS is family-owned and operated, providing professional commercial cleaning services to establishments throughout DFW. With client satisfaction as a primary goal, high-quality maintenance is available as frequently as requested. This includes a 24-hour support system, which guarantees a quick response. Since our beginning in 2017, there has only been one major goal here at BMS, customer satisfaction. Again, that's BAEZMaintenance.com. Phone number is 817-528-3056. And I think she said they're changing their logo, but it's a T-Rex. Their logo's got a T-Rex in it. I'm like, cool, man. I like dinosaurs. So, anywho, that's all the sponsors. If you guys are interested in helping us keep the mission moving forward at the Fort Worth Roots, our mission is to support small businesses, local small businesses, and provide an additional stage for our musicians. If y'all are looking for an update on our live music series, that we are holding off on until May. We really want to knock this one out of the park. We want to make sure it's perfect for you guys. So, still trying to get some things in order, trying to accommodate some schedules, and another big part of this was we had some venues closed down, some venues that we really were anticipating using as a location for the music series. At any rate, we will get that thing going, and this season is going to prepare us to operate even more efficiently next year, because we won't have nearly as many issues. And if we do run into issues, we'll know how to handle it, which is what we're figuring out right now. So we haven't forgotten about that music series. It will be happening, but we're going to delay the start just to make sure it's perfect for you. All right, what else? Guys and gals, thank you sincerely from the bottom of my heart for making this possible. As far as I know, inside the Fort Worth area, I'm the only full-time podcaster. I haven't met anybody else that does this full-time in our area. I would love to. That'd be fun. Let's hang out. But I was able to get this going. We're able to do this. I'm able to live my dream as a full-time podcaster because of you guys listening right now. If you've ever listened to one episode, which you are doing right now, if you've ever shared our information on social media, if you've ever come to an event, thank you so much, because I can't do this without you. It would have never happened, but we pulled it off. Last October, I stepped away from my regular job and grabbed onto this thing, and it's accelerated. I don't know if you guys have noticed. I certainly have. We went from releasing one episode a week with, pretty good regularity. There's some empty holes in our schedule over the last 4 years where we might have missed one, but for the most part, it's been pretty regular, one episode every week. And now we are averaging 6 episodes a week. That's a lot, but you can only do it if you're a full-time podcaster. So the message here is thank you. I appreciate you so much. And if we don't get to meet, just know that I'm still thinking about you. When I pull up the analytics, I've got a map, and it shows folks all over the place. And this outro has gone so long, I don't think it even matters if we go a little bit further. So let me pull open our analytics real quick and look at the map, because I want to tell you where the crazy people are that are listening to the show. This is a lot of fun for me. We got 2 in London. I guess this was just in the last 7 days. I can't do it daily. I can only do it every 7 days. 2 in Frankfurt, Germany. Did I say London already? Yeah. 2 in London, 2 in Paris, 2 in Madrid. We got a friend over here in Australia, over in Sydney. And that's cool, because most of what we do, 99% of our listeners, are right here in Fort Worth. But we've got one, and it doesn't give you the state either. It just says Longmont. 1 in Chicago. Okay. Got 2 in New York. 7 in Elmsford. And I don't know where that is, but it's up there towards New York. Takes a second. Hold on. Chesapeake. 3 in Chesapeake, 1 in Columbia, and we got 1 in Atlanta. Oh, and now we're kind of creeping into the DFW. But, yeah, Roanoke, Hearst, Newark, Leander, I think that's down towards Austin. This map's a mess. It's hard to read. But great. Awesome. Thank you. I don't care where you're from. Thank you. Thank you for listening to the show. If you guys would ever like to tell us what you enjoy about the show or how we could make it better, you can email us media@fortworthroots.com. That is way too much talking out of me. Thank y'all so much again. And stay tuned. We got an episode almost every daggum day of the week. Hope y'all are enjoying this. I will talk to you later. See ya. Bye.